so apologise. But this is the first time I think I've almost ever gone live directly on YouTube. Something new for me. But I've got some things that are coming that are changing, so I thought I would come live and share them with you. So if you haven't met me before or you're just coming across my channel now, I am Siona. I'm a crochet mentor and designer and CEO of Honouring ME Crochet business. And I'm the founder of the Hooked on Crochet Club. So I'm very passionate about helping people find their joy in crochet so that the time that you're spending with crochet actually feels like self-care. So welcome if you found me, because I know that crochet is more than just a hobby, and I want to help everyone feel the benefits that crochet can bring. So I'm here today, now that I figured out rotation and what's going on with my phone going live and gotten through all the logistics here. I'm making today's temperature blanket. So I'm in Perth, WA, Australia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And today's rather warm. So we had 36 degrees Celsius today. So I'm numbering all my squares. So this is number 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. This one requires actual counting so I don't mess it up. So I apologize if I'm pausing for that. But I'm also here today as an opportunity to come and share the things that I have that are going to be coming to this channel. And I'd love to have your input. I usually play on Instagram, which is my favorite little place to play. But I'm here building and playing on YouTube properly now. I've had YouTube channel for quite a while, but I actually want to get a bit more serious about it now. I've got a bit more space. So I ran some polls in my Instagram stories, and it seems like everything I had planned is well received. So I'm hoping that it stays that way. So yeah, I'm going to plan some regular content. The frequency I'm still not yet decided, but I'm going to aim for once a week. One of those is yarn reviews. Now, inside the Hooked on Crochet Club, I give yarn reviews every month for yarn that I've trialed and tested. So we've got a library there where they can search by location, yarn, like the fiber or the ply, so the weight of the yarn, and then they can use that to help make decisions. So I thought I'd start sharing some of those. It's not quite as good as having a library to go to, but at least give you some ideas of what I thought of the yarn, and they'll be all very uniform, so you can compare apples with apples. I'm just going to count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 20, 24. So this square that I'm making is my circle to square, which is one of my square a day challenge squares. If you want to grab that. So obviously I'm going to do some crochet and chats where I'm just going to sit and crochet and chat with you, give you some updates of what's going on. You can watch me crochet because I know how calming it can be, as long as I get my hands in the right part of the screen, of course. And you might not be aware, but I actually publish a washcloth pattern every month, which for me, washcloths are perfect for teaching and practicing new stitches because you do get you get something useful at the end of it. It doesn't matter if you mess it up because it's still going to function as a washcloth, or you can just pull it apart and it's not so overwhelming. So I'm going to start giving tutorials for those. I'll probably start with the ones that are newest and then work on adding some of the others, just because that makes sense to me. But if there's one that you want a tutorial for, so you purchase a pattern and you want a tutorial, then by all means reach out and I'll prioritize that as one that comes next. I'm also a big fan of granny squares. This is why my temperature blanket is made with granny squares. They're a great teaching tool. There's something that's simple that you can work on, and it's not so overwhelming because, hey, it's small, but You can also create all sorts of things with them. So every month on my blog, I actually have a granny square project. The idea is not to necessarily copy exactly what I'm doing, though you're most welcome to, but to help you touch into your creative side and give you ideas for what you could turn your granny squares into, because it's literally unlimited. Even if you only know one square, there is so much that you can do with a granny square. And then I am also very much, as I mentioned in my intro, very much about self-care and using crochet for that. I'm a director of quality for a medical device company. I've raised 3 children to adulthood. I've pretty much always worked full-time or the equivalent of that. Should count these before I stop. So I'm very aware of how important it is to focus on your own self-care. Let me just count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, and 6 left. There's 36 in this round. Yeah, playing wrong. So yeah, I'd love to give you some tips for self-care. So if there's anything, especially if it's tips with crochet, because this, honestly, crochet is more than just a hobby. It really is my savior when we were fostering. I know it's just, I don't know, I like to have something to do with my hands. And I love this square because now it's about to turn into a square from a circle. Now, the other big thing that is coming up is I am going to be releasing my first ever crochet along, and I am extremely excited. So it does use my washcloth patterns. It will create a blanket from them. I won't tell you which washcloth designs that I've chosen for it, but I am super excited because the name alone is going to be called JOYCAL 2025, because yes, I do plan on publishing a cal. I'm aiming for every year. We'll see how that works. But the whole idea of it is to give you that journey into finding your joy in crochet, because we all find different things that we love. With crochet, for example, I don't like to change colors too often. I love to work with cotton or a silk blend. So it's all about, clearly I love my granny squares and the projects that just help you lose yourself in them without, the stress of trying to get things right. This one does require some counting. I'm not a fan of counting, which is why I don't like to make the toys very often. There's just way too much counting in those for me, which to me is not very relaxing. It's something that I've got to literally dedicate the time and know that I'm there to just pay attention. I prefer these sort of things where I can just jump in, do them, put them down. Always have a travel project on the go, which I'll be traveling again in a couple of weeks, week after next. So I always have a travel project. The other thing I like to do is I've started showing you how you can turn my washcloth patterns into something else. So I'll likely share some of those on here as well. But yeah, so that's a lot about me and the plans for this. So if you do like the idea of all of this, then I do encourage you to hit that subscribe. I'm planning to spend more time on this channel, crocheting with you, sharing ideas with you. Some of it will overlap, with what I share with my members, because I do have an online membership called the Hooked on Crochet Club, which is my happy place as well. I get to teach and inspire mostly women, their crochet journey and help them gain the confidence they need so that they can get more joy out of their crochet. And while YouTube's clearly a platform, I know how many people get stuck on not being able to read patterns because of how they've learned. So I like to upskill you with that. And yeah, sometimes we do need to refer to a video, but I would love to help you expand your crochet by being able to start using the written patterns that you find and love, but you can't find a tutorial for. So it's something I do inside the Hooked on Crochet Club, is I'll help them with their patterns, but also help them develop skills like that. I do have a free download for that. So one of the links that I've got is linked to all my links. I figure that's easier. You can scroll through them all then. But my guide to reading patterns is definitely my most popular. That and my beginner's guide. I also plan to redo some of the playlists that I've got on here already. So you'll find a beginner's lessons. I'm going to, update those. They've been a while since I've published those. I've probably fine-tuned my teaching skills since then as well. Though I stand by my original lessons, but I'd like to break them out for you into smaller bite-sized lessons. Yeah, I'm actually surprised that I haven't messed this square up because I quite often lose my concentration with these. But anyway, so that's a little introduction to me and the changes that I've got. So you can scroll, you'll see I used to go live quite frequently on Facebook. Facebook's kind of not my friend right now. You'll find me on Instagram and in my Instagram stories daily. So I do urge you to follow me on there. And if you are wanting to get better at your crochet, then I have a free masterclass, which there's always a session coming up. So if you hit on the link and find the one for the free masterclass, the next one will be there available for you. And this year's temperature blanket, so you can see it's very pink. You can see that line there. So I'm actually doing rows of 18 and just joining each one as I go, which actually makes it more travel friendly as well because I can make what I want, join them as I'm traveled, and then come back and join those to the line that is here already, which I've just come to the end of. And this one is for my eldest son. My eldest son turns 30 this year. And his favorite color is pink. So I'm going to do it for him. My last year's one, I did hexagons. This is my 5th or 6th year. Made one more blanket than that though, because I did 2 in 2023 because I had a little bit crazy. I wouldn't do that again. This one I'm just focusing on the maximum temperatures. I've got 10 shades of pink that I'm working with. The brighter the pink, the hotter the temperature. You can see it's yesterday's. Today's not quite as hot. Bookmarks sitting there in my yarn thing. Yeah. And I'm just joining these. You can see working in the back loop only of the squares. You can tell with a little bit of practice. This isn't sped up at all. You're watching me live, obviously. Well, or the replay. But yeah, let me know if there's anything that you would like to see covered in these. If there's anything you don't like the sound of. Clearly, you don't have to get involved in everything that I put here. I know that I can't please everyone, but if there's something that's it will help you. This is a silly spot to, and do let me know, and I'll see if I can work it in. But there's something I am very sure of, that when I set my eyes on something, I am very consistent and persistent with it. So I've built up my Instagram. Now I've got space to work on YouTube. I've been publishing a blog every single week for 6 or 7 years now, probably maybe 8 years. I'm not very good at keeping track of anniversary dates, so forgive me for that one. But if someone wants to go back and look and tell me, then that will save me looking and figuring it out. What have I got here? Last one. Yeah. All my temperature blankets have been a square or a hexagon so far. Different designs, different squares, sometimes with the minimum maximum, sometimes just maximum, like this one. You can see it doesn't take that much of my day to do them. So, easy way to pass the time. And this is one of my favorite squares. You can see I'll always encourage you to weave in the ends as you go. No one likes to do that. Anyway, it's been a pleasure to sit here with you. Maybe Sunday afternoons when I can make it work. I know my brain's usually fried on a Friday. Originally, when I was on Facebook, it was Friday afternoon. I went live just because it worked out with what my life was like then. My life is different now. My children are all adults. Yeah, there you go. This week's square. All right, well, thank you for joining me. And as I said, subscribe if you're interested in the things that I've listed. I'm looking forward to growing this channel with you. All right, have a good one. Bye.